hurling first, so 7 balls.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome back again to Páirc Uí Chaoimh. 1,000 apologies, some little technical gremlins there meant you could see us, but you couldn't hear us. Thankfully, sound and picture, everything now restored. So we're going to go back to Kevin O'Donovan. Kevin, recap what you did in half the amount of time.
Yeah, it was often said to me that little boys should be seen and not heard, so I think that rings true tonight. We're here, busy night ahead. 16 county championships in Cork at adult level. It'll be 17 next year, 16 this year. We're doing draws for 13 of them tonight. They won't take as long as you think. Some of them are divisional winners in Junior A championships coming out to meet each other. We'll do the draws for those. Junior B also. Junior A maps on to Junior B, so it'll be the same opponents for Junior A and B. The 3 draws we're not doing tonight are the Junior B and C football, the Junior B hurling in the open county for first teams only, because their entries are still pending. due to relegation and divisions and so on. So we'll do them another night. We'll get kicking with our 13.
Okay, and we'll be explaining as we go throughout the night what exactly is happening. Just to explain, drawing the balls, we have Chairman of the County Board, Mark Sheehan. We have Pat Barry Murphy from the Co-op Superstores, and we have Pat Horgan, then the Vice Chairman of the Cork County Board, there at the far end. So, what are we starting with?
We're starting with Junior A and B hurling from the divisional winners coming out next autumn. And in hurling, we're going to start off 7 teams. The first team drawn here, each division will be looking for this one to see can they get an extra weekend. First team out will get a bye to the semi-finals. And then after that, the next pairing is B, the next pairing is C, the last pairing is D, and it'll be A versus B, C versus D in the semi-final, or in the semi-finals as always. So the draw will roll on. So number 1 is Carbery, number 2 is Carrickdown, number 3 is Musgrave, number 4 is Duhallow, number 5 is Avondhu, number 6 is Shandoon, number 7 is Imikelly. So Mark is going to do this one on his own, and the first one out is going to get a bye. Number 3, so Musgrave get a bye, and in the semi-final they'll play the winners of 7 Imikelly, 6 versus Shandoon. Musgrave play the winners of Shandoon and Imikelly in the semi-final. On the other side of the draw, 5 is Avondhu. 4 versus 4 Duhallow. The winners of that game proceed to the semi-final where they'll play the winners of 1 Carbery versus Carrickdown. That's the Junior A and the Junior B hurling county championship draws at Junior A and B level next year. We'll go on to the football. 8 teams this time, so an extra ball goes in. These will be straight quarter-finals. Number 1 Carbery, number 2 Carrickdown, number 3 Musgrave, number 4 Duhallow, number 5 Avondhu, number 6 Shandoon, number 7 Imikelly, and number 8 Beara. 4 straight quarter-finals, A versus B, C versus D in the semi-finals. First quarter-final pairing is 1 is Carbery versus the winners of Musgrave. Number 2. The winners of Carrickdown versus 8. Versus the winners of Beara. And the other half of the draw, the C versus D pairing now. 4 Duhallow. 7. Their winners will play the winners in Imikelly in both Junior A and Junior B football. Number 6, the winners in Shandoon will play the winners in Avondhu. So you have your pairings, A versus B, C versus D. That draws down the divisions now know their opponents, and we know who's getting the bye in the hurling. On to the first of our so-called intermediate and senior championships. We know as of last week, lower intermediate is going to be called Premier Junior Hurling. Same teams, same grades, same seedings, same format. And the teams in this draw are the A seeds are Kilbrittain, Glen Rovers, Ballygarvan. The B seeds are Tracton, Argideen Rangers, Milford. And the C/D seeds are Ballygiblin, Barryroe, Dripsey, St Finbarrs, St Catherine's, and Russell Rovers, and they're numbered in that format.
Okay, we're just getting the balls in play for this draw. Just have to mention as well, we're talking about junior championships. Do we all realise that we're in the presence of a junior championship medal winner from the last week?
I think they continue to keep inventing grades at the higher levels. Fortunately, the Carbery board keep inventing them at the lower level to try and keep it playing. So
what is your record now with Kilmeen Kilbree?
Win-loss ratio?
No, county like Paddy O'Shea, the medals in the box under the bed.
The box is empty, but I throw one in now and again and give it an old rattle, and we got one last weekend.
So that was junior.
It was Junior C from 2020, so as a result I was able to reduce my age by 2 years, and that's how they left me on.
Corner forward.
Yes, near to the flag. I was able to lean up against the fence every now and again.
And I hope it wasn't a young cornerback on you, was it?
No, I think he ran up the field attacking as soon as he saw me coming in. I didn't see him for the rest of the match.
And what is there? That's Junior C, and you have Junior B and Junior A as well?
Junior A, yeah. So we're big plans for us to have a Junior B campaign next year. I'd say the Junior B teams are quaking in their boots.
Okay, well done. I don't think that there's many county board CEOs in the country that are still plying their trade and impressing by all accounts.
Yeah,
well.
Let's not say trade. I don't think we'd pass the Trade Descriptions Act, so just say we were there.
I think Pat Horgan nearly fell off the stage there laughing. Right, we're back up and running. Thanks to Cian. Just to explain, we just had to assure that we had the right number of balls in play. Just explain here, so Kevin, how this is broken down across the tables.
Yeah, so Mark has the A seeds, Kilbrittain, Glenrovers and Ballygarvan. Pat Barry Murphy at the second one has tracked in Argadine Rangers and Milford, and then Pat Horgan is going to draw 2 balls each time, and this will be replicated throughout the night because I said we've mixed C and D seeds to jumble it up a little bit. He'll have Ballygiblin, he'll have Barry Rowe, he'll have Dripsy, he'll have St Finbarrs, he'll have St Catherine's and Russell Rovers. So by giving that little explanation, apart from intermediate A football, which is 16, this is our format for the rest of the night. Okay, so first out, in the first group, in Group 1, it will have an A seed pulled by Mark. It'll have a B seed pulled by Pat Barry Murphy. It'll have a C and D seeds pulled by Pat Horgan. So we'll shake them up, and Mark Sheehan will pull out the first one. Number one, Kilbrittain. Okay, Pat. Number 6 is Milford. And you can place them in the carton facing up, and the camera will pick them up. And Pat is going to pull one first.
Number 8.
Number 8 is Barry Rowe. And a second one, Pat.
Number 10.
And number 10, St Finbarrs. So Kilbrittain, Ballygarvan, Barry Rowe, St Finbarrs. Okay, Mark, you'll pull again. Group 2. Number 3, Ballygarvan. Okay, Pat.
Number 5.
Number 5, Argadine Rangers. And 2 from Pat Horgan.
Number 9.
Number 9 is Dripsy.
Number 7.
Number 7 is Ballygiblin. Okay, so I think we probably have those coming up on the screen. Yeah, for the folks at home. Ballygarvan, Argadine Rangers, Dripsy and Ballygiblin. Okay, and Mark, your last one.
2.
Number 2, Glenrovers. Pat.
Number 4.
Number 4, Tracton. And Pat Horgan.
Number 11.
St Catherine's.
And number 12.
Russell Rovers. So Glen Rovers, Tracton, St Catherine's and Russell Rovers. We've our 3 groups of 4. We all know how they qualify. We put a huge emphasis on every ball counting, so as we know, scoring difference and looking across the groups all affects who comes out and relegation and so on thereafter.
Okay, I want to mention as well, Kevin, Rebels Bounty, we saw the promos a little earlier in the programme. An incredible success last year. The difficult job now is to replicate that.
Yes, and the same as everything, the same with teams or anything. Trying to repeat success is difficult, so it's better to maybe aim a bit higher. The clubs are really heavy at it at the moment. We see the online sales coming in daily basis. We see coordinators updating it, so it's really kicked off in the last couple of weeks. The draw is Thursday fortnight, the 24th, so it's coming at us fast, and I'd encourage everyone to buy. It's a great draw. It'll support your local club, particularly once they hit the quota. We all see the club tweets going up. We've passed our quota. Then you know your €100 is landing straight into club coffers, and I think that's when it really gains momentum at club level.
How are you in comparison to this time last year, 2 weeks out?
Probably similar, but there's such a burst in the last week. You know, maybe we're all a bit lazy. We leave it till the last minute. We know we're going to buy, but I'd encourage people to buy that little bit early because it gives the club a bit of momentum when they pass the 50, when they pass the 100, when they pass the 150. And I also think that it helps administration-wise for everybody else, you know, club and county level, that they're all not at the last minute. So,
You know, the few teething problems, there was concerns last year for clubs. How are we going to reach our quota? Are you happy? Are the clubs happy that's been ironed out?
I think those concerns are always there. In any fundraiser, everyone's apprehensive. In my own club, you're wondering, can we repeat it again? But then when you get up and at it, those fears go away once you start passing your quota. No, we're still talking to clubs on a daily basis. It's a challenge, particularly in clubs who, you know, had other fundraising plans or have scale issues or size issues. We talk to them every day. So I'm not underestimating the work there is for clubs to carry this out, but there are much harder ways of making money, I would say.
And just very quickly, on that greater picture in terms of Munster Council, Central Council grants, is that still all kind of frozen as we are emerging from the fog of COVID?
Starting to move. We will have our crowds back at matches, and the attendances at Munster Championship games drive the Munster Council grants. So if you've had no attendances or little attendances for the last couple of years, then it follows through. You didn't have the grants. So we expect the grants to return. And we know clubs are always moving on with facilities. So it's vital that source of funding comes.
As we said one day, it's always looking over at the neighbours' field to see the new tractor or the new slotted unit, and I want the same.
Yeah,
and bigger and better.
And the same in our competitions. We're trying to create layers and ladders that everyone is saying, we've a chance of winning, we've a chance of being relegated. We don't want anyone swimming in the middle in these grades.
Okay, let's move on. We're heading to football now, and I think this is one of our rare. Is this the 16-team draw?
This is the 16 teams for just one more year. It'll be going back to a 12 next year with 4 of these teams going to Premier Junior Football and 8 coming up from the divisions as approved last week. So we have A seedings, Mitchelstown 1, St. Nick's 2, Kilshannig 3, Ahabollock 4. Our B seeds are Glanworth 5, Mill Street 6, Drumtariff 7, Ballydesmond 8. We've C and D seeds, Adrigole 9, Boherbue 10, Gabriel Rangers 11, Ballinora 12, Glanmire 13, Glenville 14, Kildare 15, St. Finbar 16. And we'll ask Mark Sheehan to pull first. Number 3 is Kilshannig. Pat Barry Murphy will pull the second seed. Number 8 is Ballydesmond. And Pat Horgan will pull 2. Number 11 is Gabriel Rangers.
And number 9.
Number 9 is Adrigole. So Kilshannig, Ballydesmond, Adrigole, Gabriel Rangers, and the folks at home can see that on the screen. Our second group, Mark will pull the A seed. Number 2 is St. Nick's. Okay, Pat.
Number 5.
Number 5 is Glanworth.
Number 14.
Number 14 is Glenville.
Number 15.
Number 15 is Kildare. So the people at home will see that on the screen. St. Nick's, Glanworth, Glenville, Kildare. Group 2. On to Group 3. Mark will pull his third one. Again, Mark has the A seeds, the top dogs in these groups. Number 1 is Mitchelstown.
Number 6.
Number 6 is Mill Street.
Number 10.
Number 10 is Boherbue.
Number 13.
Number 13 is Glanmire. So you see Raf is doing great work there with his team at the back. We can see them on the screen here. Those teams will come up now for Group 3. Mitchelstown, Drumtariff, Boherbue, Glanmire. Okay, on to the last group. Mark will pull the top seed. We know who's coming. I think he knows them too. Number 4 is Ahabollock.
Number 7.
Number 7 is Drumtariff.
Number 12.
Number 12, Ballinora.
Number 16.
Number 16 is St. Finbarrs. Well, that's coming up on the screen. St. Finbarrs will be out as the D seed, even though we know there's no difference in ranking between C and D. That informs the draw, because on the competitions document you saw that went out, we always know the format and sequence of games in a group, because it is always the A seed takes on the B seed in the first game. The C seed takes on the D seed, so you have a very competitive first round. The second round then, A takes on D and B takes on C, which might be the lopsided game if an A seed is playing a D seed, and then A versus C and B versus D. So all teams now know the sequence of their games. They also know the weekends they're playing already from the championship programme that was sent out. So as of tonight and as of tomorrow, all these fixtures will be in circulation with an opponent and a weekend. Time, date and venue to follow.
Okay, Kevin, I'm just going to hop in here. I'm going to have a quick word with the man hopefully you'll never be facing across the boardroom anyway in his CCC capacity. Pat, we were just chatting, Kevin and myself there a little earlier. This year for you and for people in your role, the split season is here at last. How challenging is that going to be?
It's going to be very challenging, but we are hopeful that once we get organised and get going, that we will come in with our championship on the weekend of the All-Ireland football, and hopefully we can go from there, and we'll have our 13 weeks to go with it. And and as a result of last week's decision, the divisions will now have their 13 weeks to come up with their champions as well. So it's all drive on from here now.
Well, why that weekend?
That was a weekend that we picked so that we could get the 13 weeks in before the date that the Munster Council would be requiring us to nominate our champions. So we walk back from the nomination and walk back that way.
Okay. What about some of the football fraternity are saying? Is that a very pessimistic viewpoint?
Well, we'll be delighted if we have to go back a week. That'll be marvellous if we have to, but it was either started one of the All-Ireland, so walking backwards, we landed on the football weekend as the second of the two All-Irelands, so we're happy to go with that, but we'll be delighted if we have to move back a week and we're in an All-Ireland final.
Have you that bit of wiggle room?
We have indeed, yeah. We have about maybe 2 weeks, but we don't want to be broadcasting that because the divisions might be looking for a bit of an extension on it, but hopefully we have 1 or 2 weeks up our sleeve.
And in terms then, very quickly, the time of year, I presume that helps you hugely, that the month of late July, August, early September, in terms of, for the most part, pitch conditions are pretty good.
Yeah.
You have the long, bright evenings as well. Would you look maybe at spreading more games onto a Thursday night, Friday night spectrum?
Well, I've been a fan of games being played over Friday night, and that's something the CCC are trying to encourage. And we're trying to get the clubs to come around to that. We've played 3 or 4 games of Friday nights in the last year or two, and we're hoping to increase that number if possible. But Thursday night might be a step too far for the clubs, in fairness.
Okay, so busy times for you.
Yeah.
Have you a blueprint in place? I presume a lot now is after tonight that you start moving the chess pieces around.
Yeah, after tonight now we will be sending out the fixtures, and we'll be looking at the leagues. We'll be putting the groups together. We'll be putting the scheduling together, and that'll all be going out to the clubs this week. So by the end of the week, we'll have every fixture in place for the number of months ahead.
Okay, Pat, thank you very much, and we'll let you get back to the job. Kevin, back to you.
Yeah, we're on to intermediate A hurling, and one decision that Munster Council have made, which impacts very much on what Pat has talked about with the All-Ireland football final, is that if Cork were in an All-Ireland football final, or indeed an All-Ireland hurling final like we were last year, we get a bye in the Munster quarter-finals of hurling or football in the respective competitions. So that actually gives us those 2 weeks. So it's like having an insurance policy that if Cork are not in the All-Ireland football final, we have to start. If they are in the All-Ireland football final, we don't have to start. So it's set up nicely in that regard as well. Intermediate A hurling, we have our 12 teams. A seeds are in order of 1, 2, 3 are Sarsfields, Ahada and Cladove. Mark as those. B seeds are Ahabullock, Mayfield and Middleton. C and D seeds are Blackrock, Douglas, Dungorney, Kildare, Lisgould, Melan, numbered 7 to 12. So in Group 1, Mark is going to pull an A seed. Number 2 is Ahada.
Number 6.
Number 6 is Middleton.
Number 11.
Number 11 is Lisgould.
Number 7.
Number 7 is Blackrock. So Rafa's putting that up on the screen. Ahada, Middleton, Lisgould and Blackrock. Excellent. Okay, Mark.
Number 3.
Number 3 is Clodove.
Number 4.
Number 4 is Ahabullock.
Number 8.
Number 8 is Douglas.
And number 9.
Number 9 is Dungorney. So we can already see that the first round in that will be Clodove versus Ahabullock, A versus B, and C versus D, Douglas versus Dungorney. They'll be playing the week after the All-Ireland football final. Okay, our third group, Group C, or Group 3.
Number 1.
Number 1 is SARS. We know who's coming next. Their neighbours, Mayfield.
Number 10.
Number 10 is Kildare.
Number 12.
And number 12 is Milan. So Sarsfields, Mayfield, Kildare and Milan. That's our third group. That's the 12 teams. Championship plays out from here with no further draws.
Now, just to recap, sorry there, Kevin, on the previous in the football draw, there was a slight glitch just across in the table. So Group 3 should have been Mitchelstown, Mill Street, Boherbue and Glanmire, and Group 4 was Ahabullock, Drumtariff, Ballinora and St. Finbarrs. It was drawn out fine. There was just a cross club in the graphic as it popped up there. So hopefully that's.
So we'll correct. Okay, fine. We have several people taking physical copies, so that'll keep us on track after if we have to do a check.
Perfect.
Okay. We're on to Premier Intermediate Football. 12 teams. We have Kanturk, Bantry Blues, Kilnamartyra. We have Ahada, Neva-Bawn, Nemo Rangers. We have Castletown Bear, Macroom, Napirsig, Rockchapel, St. Vincent's and Ivleary. So Mark will throw the balls in again, lads. We're on a roll now, all the same sequence for the rest of the night. So Mark will pull an A seed. Number 3, Kilnamartyra. Number 6, Nemo Rangers.
Number 11.
Number 11 is St. Vincent's.
Number 12.
Number 12 is Ivleary. So Kilnamartyra, Nemo Rangers, St. Vincent's and Ivleary. Second group, Bantry Blues. Number 4, Ahada.
Number 9.
Number 9, Napirsig.
Number 7.
Number 7, Castletown Bear. So reading from the screen, Bantry Blues, Ahada, Napirsig, Castletown Bear. And our last group is preordained. Number 1 is Kanturk. Number 5 is Neva-Bawn.
Number 8.
Number 8, Macroom take the third place seeding in that group.
Number 10.
And Rockchapel take the fourth, just underneath them. So Kanturk, Neva-Bawn, Macroom and Rockchapel. And we know that competition plays out by itself then. On to Premier Intermediate Hurling. We're still on the 12 balls. Our A seeds are Castlelyons, Bandon, Ballinhassig, labelled 1, 2, 3. Our B seeds are Valley Rovers, Kilworth and Carrigaline, labelled 4, 5, 6. And then the rest are all grouped together, Ballincollig, 7, Castlemartyr, 8, Aerogue, 9, Inniscarra, 10, Watergrass Hill, 11, and Youghal 12. So Mark will pull an A seed to get the group started. Number 1 is Castleines. Number 6 is Carrigaline.
Number 9.
Number 9 is Éire Óg.
Number 11.
Number 11 is Watergrass Hill. So Castleines, Carrigaline, Éire Óg and Watergrass Hill listed in that order because Éire Óg take the 3rd place, Watergrass Hill take the 4th. Okay, on to Group 2 or Group B. Number 2 is Bandon. Number 4 is Valley Rovers.
Number 12.
Number 12 is Youghal.
Number 10.
Number 10 is Inniscarra. So in that order, Bandon, Valley Rovers, Youghal, Inniscarra, and our last group, number 3, Ballinhassig. Number 5, Kilworth.
Number 8.
Number 8, Castlemartyr.
And number 7.
Number 7, Ballincollig. So Ballinhassig, Kilworth, Castlemartyr, Ballincollig, that completes the Premier Intermediate hurling draw.
Okay, I'm
4
just
to
going
go.
to have a quick word there with the chairman of the county board, Mark Sheehan, and then we'll be getting into our senior A and Premier Senior. I'd say a happy man to be seeing, hopefully, the back of COVID.
Hopefully, yeah, very happy. Bright evenings, championship draws, sponsors in place, live streaming, Rebels Bounty going well. So bring on 2022.
Okay. What are the hopes and ambitions for Mark Sheehan at this moment in time?
Well, I suppose we want a full programme of games and a programme that could be attended by as many patrons, you know, as they wish, and I suppose in a COVID-free and a safe environment as well. And that, you know, that will pertain for all grades and all age groups, boys and girls, from the youngest right through to our competitions. And I think that's, in the context of the last 2 years, that is really important for Cork GAA and for the GAA and for society. And so we're looking forward to that.
At county level, where are you setting the bar?
We're setting it high. We've had a good start last weekend here in front of the home crowd. Comprehensive victory over Clare and a great shootout with the Clare footballers, and the second game. Busy weekend ahead, off to Burr on Sunday afternoon, and footballers in Derry the following Sunday. And a lot of work going on behind closed doors in the last number of months, and progress being made. Mm-hmm. And we're in a good place. A lot of work to do, and we're happy to be on the road again and having great support from all the members of the panel and all the backroom teams, and that loyal band of supporters that always travel to, be it Roscommon or Burr or wherever, in supporting the Cork teams in the early part of the year.
There seems to be a lot of doom and gloom, though, around the footballers at the moment. I'm sure that you would have a different view, would you?
Certainly, I wouldn't share that. I'm not so sure that there is that much doom and gloom. We have a good team. Go back to 2019, 2020, under 20 victory, and working through. You know, last year was a difficult year, but we're back on the road again, and I think there's cause for hope.
And in terms, you just mentioned the underage teams, it's been very challenging for underage, or minor in particular, over the last 2 years. What's the work like in those categories at the moment?
It's very, very positive. And I mean, last year, the year 2021, despite COVID, was a really positive year for all the Cork underage teams in terms of the All-Ireland successes at under 17 and 20 in hurling, and, you know, making a clean sweep of all the Munster Championships. So it was a good year despite everything, and we're going to work and build from that. That's the objective, and I think we're on the right track.
Okay, we'll let you go back to what we're here for. And Kevin, we're on to Senior A hurling, is it?
Senior A football first. So we have our 12 teams again. A seeds are St. Michael's, Island Rovers and Bailoff and Garig. B seeds are Dohoney's, Knocknagree, Clyde Rovers. And then mixed into the 6C/D seeds are Bandon, Bishopstown, Fermoy, Kishgame, Newmarket, O'Donovan Rossa, numbered in that order. So in our first group, Mark will pull an A seed. Number 2, Island Rovers. Number 6, Clyde Rovers.
Number 11.
Number 11 is Newmarket.
Number 12.
Number 12, O'Donovan Rossa. And we're getting, and just have a look at that on the screen. So yeah, we've Island Rovers, Clyde, Newmarket, and O'Donovan Rossa. I think everyone will be watching that Island Rovers O'Donovan Rossa game, A versus D. I think that is the second game in the sequence. Okay, top team out. Number 3 is Bela and Gaelic. Number 4 is Dohany's.
Number 7.
Number 7 is Bandon.
Number 10.
Number 10 is Kishcame. So Bela and Gaelic, Dohany's, Bandon and Kishcame. And our final group, St. Michael's. Knocknagree.
Number 8.
Number 8 is Bishopstown.
And number 9.
Number 9 Fermoy. We'll just call that group St. Michael's, Knocknagree, Bishopstown and Fermoy. And the technical people here are telling me that we're going to show the intermediate A football draw on the screen again for the people at home. Because we're okay, we're on track here, we're drawn correctly, but there was just a glitch in what was shown at home. So the lads are going to put intermediate A football back on the screen at home. And it's corrected now. Group A, Kilshannig, Ballydesmond, Gabriel Rangers, Adrigole. Group B, St. Nick's, Glanworth, Glenville, Kildare. Group C, Mitchelstown, Mill Street, Boherbui, Glanmire. And Group D, Ahabolog, Drumtariff, Ballinora and St. Finbars. So I think that'll correspond with what the people have here. Okay, on to our third last draw, our Senior A hurling. Our A seeds are Father O'Neill's, Carricktool and Newcestown. Our B seeds are Bride Rovers, Blarney and Mallow. And all the rest labelled 7 to 12 are Ballyhay, Ballymartle, Clyne, Courcey Rovers, Fermoy and Killa. Number 3 is Newcestown. Number 6 is Mallow.
Number 9.
Number 9 is Clyne.
Number 11.
Number 11 is Fermoy. Just while that's coming up on the screen, it's important to note that the C and D seeds are being called out here in alphabetical order. So don't read anything into the order that the CDs. They're just all jumbled in together and pulled out randomly to get a mixture in the groups. So Courcey Rovers there are number 10. Traditionally they would be number 12 as the last team up into the grade, but they're listed in alphabetical order here, so they're number 10. So let there be no confusion there. It is your seeding as you are pulled out now. Newcestown, Mallow, Clyne and Fermoy. Newcestown top seeds, Mallow second seeds, Clyne getting the third seeding and Fermoy getting the fourth seeding. Clyne and Fermoy being pulled randomly. On to Group B, or our second group. Number 1 is Father O'Neill's. Number 5 is Blarney.
Number 12.
Number 12 is Killa.
Number 10.
Number 10 is Courcey Rovers. Father O'Neill's, Blarney, Killa, Courcey Rovers. Our last group, we know who's coming. Mark. Number 2, Carricktool. Number 4. Bride Rovers.
Number 7.
Number 7, Ballyhay get the third seeding.
Number 8.
Number 8, Ballymartle get the fourth seeding. So Group C, Senior A hurling, Carricktool, Bride Rovers, Ballyhay and Ballymartle.
Before we get into the piece de la resistance, the Premier Senior draws, one topic that has been dominating a lot of conversation in the county and beyond is a certain Ed Sheeran playing out here during the summer, and the fact the Cork teams won't be playing here. What's the official line? What's the response to the person that stops you on the street, or maybe it's a cornerback that's whispering in your ear in the course of a Junior C championship game?
Not quite.
What do you say?
Yeah, so I suppose it's a commercial reality that everybody knows the situation the stadium is in financially. We want it to be a success. Part of that success is concerts. And we feel the prudent decision, taking into account our investment in coaching, our investment in games, where we want Gaelic games to grow in the county, that unfortunately sometimes hard choices have to be made. And I want to quash any speculation that we made it blind to the inter-county season. That's not true. We would never try to escape and hoodwink people into saying it was all some big mistake. It was discussed at length over time by our stadium board, by our county executive. It was discussed with the management teams of both groups. And it was felt, while we didn't have the specific on the Munster games at that time, we knew it was in the inter-county season. We knew there was a strong likelihood there could be a clash. But this stadium needs concerts to turn around its financial position. It's a cold commercial reality. The clubs of this county, we all decided to build this stadium. It must be paid for. The sooner we can pay it back, the sooner we can pour more investment into our games, which is all our passion. And sometimes in life there's hard choices to be made, and they have to be made. In parallel, though, there was communication with the managers throughout, particularly with the hurling, because Kieran was in place. Keith wasn't actually in place when some of these discussions happened. And there was a parallel discussion about Cork having 3 games in a row. There was discussion about going to Páirc Uí Rinn or Thurles. We feel we've come out with a good deal out of it. Football then, we had a delegate very well articulating here at our meeting last week. Was it unfair to put the footballers in Páirc Uí Rinn instead of going down to Killarney? No, we said in let's look at the context of that game. Cork are better off welcoming Kerry to Killarney in football. So lots of complex issues, lots of discussion, lots of thought. We made a judgment call. People can say it's right or it's wrong, but we felt we did it in the best interests of Cork GAA.
The timing of the concert, is that due to COVID, that it is in that April slot?
These are world tours, so there's no negotiation with promoters on dates for a particular artist. They come on a cycle, they're going through Europe, they land in a certain time. It is something we will have to consider, is should we have concerts in the Munster Championship window? We know we have windows for Elton John in July. We know we have a window for Westlife in August, while our club championship is in the early rounds.
I suppose, yeah, sorry, that's my question, Kevin. If you two, for example, are coming, do you know when you're signing the paperwork that they will be coming on the 14th of August?
Yeah, I'd love to ring Bono and say, hang on till July. It doesn't work like that. So they have their set dates when they're coming, and then we have a decision to make whether we want them or not. And we have to be adults about this. We made the decision. We're not trying to hide it. We're not saying, oh, we didn't know there was a match. There was none of that. We knew we were in the game season, and it is something would need to be reviewed annually. I suppose my objective is, let's clear this debt. Let's get back onto a stable. The county board is back in a stable financial footing. Let's get the stadium back there. Let's get it generating profit and invest that back in our games. So unfortunately, short-term cuts for a long-term future viability.
And how big of a shot in the arm is Ed Sheeran and a sold-out Páirc Uí Chaoimh?
Yeah, concerts are the game changer for this building, because we know it's the mecca for our club games, but nobody thinks the club games are going to finance a stadium like this. It's a reward for the club players to get to county semi-finals and quarter-finals and finals and come here. So you've got to have commercial reality. It's got to turn a buck on this floor at premium level. It's got to turn a buck in concerts, and concerts are the game changer, because day-to-day business is tough in a stadium. Concerts are the day where you can cash in on food and beverage, on ticket sales.
Is that realisation, do you think, out there now?
I would still say people have reservations, and I'd accept them, and it's something that I would think about at times. When you make judgment call, only a fool is certain that they're right all the time. People who think and consider are always wondering, was that the right call? But we made it in the best interest of Cork GAA. We've got to be adults, we've got to face the music. The delegates discussed it last week, but there's a real understanding here that our objective is to get us back onto a steady financial footing to drive our games. That's why we're all here. None of us came here for stadiums or concerts. We came here for the games. And in the short term, sometimes you have to make tough decisions to get out of where we are.
Okay, I'll let you get back to what we are here for tonight, and now we are on to the Premier Senior Hurling and Football Championship draws.
So, Premier Senior Football, our A seeds are St Finbarrs, Clonakilty and Douglas. Our B seeds are Castlehaven, Valley Rovers and Éire Óg. Our C/D seeds in alphabetical order: Ballincollig, Carbery Rangers, Carrigaline, Mallow, Nemo Rangers and Newcestown. So you can see a pretty hot draw now, seeing as we've had relegation for a number of years. Our competitions are getting tighter and tougher. So Mark is going to pull out the top seed in the first group. Number one, St Finbarrs. Number 6, Éire Óg. Number 8, Carbery Rangers. Number 9, Carrigaline. St Finbarrs, Éire Óg, Carbery Rangers and Carrigaline are coming up on the screen at home. Our second group, Group B, Mark will pull the top seed. Number 3 is Douglas. Number 5 is Valley Rovers. Number 10 is Mallow. Number 7 is Ballincollig. So Group B, Douglas is top seeds, Valley Rovers is second seeds, Mallow taking the third seeding and Ballincollig with the fourth. We can see now there's a bit of luck in that C and D seeding as to falling into third or fourth place. Our last group, we know who's going to be out first here. Number 2 is Clonakilty. Local derby against Castlehaven, A versus B in the first game, All-Ireland final weekend. Number 11 is Nemo Rangers. And number 12 is Newcestown. So that group is no place for the faint-hearted. Clonakilty, Castlehaven, Nemo Rangers and Newcestown. So when people were voting for relegation, this is what we promised. So the people at home are looking at our Group A, B and C. We'll call them out quickly, seeing as it's our premier competition. Conor, I'm sure, will be saying a few words in it in a minute. St Finbarrs, Éire Óg, Carbery Rangers, Carrigaline. Group B is Douglas, Valley Rovers, Mallow and Ballincollig. And Group C, Clonakilty, Castlehaven, Nemo Rangers and Newcestown. On to our last competition, Premier Senior Hurling. County champions Middleton, topping it with an A seed, along with Glen Rovers and SARS. B seeds are Blackrock, Douglas and Erin's Own. And C/D seeds, in alphabetical order, Bishopstown, Charleville, Kanturk, Napirsig, Newtown, Chandram and St Finbarrs at 12. So Mark will pull the top seed in Group A. Number 1 is Middleton. Number 5 is Douglas. Number 9 is Kanturk. Number 11 is Newtown Chandram. Middleton, Douglas, Kanturk, Newtown Chandram in that order. A versus B, C versus D in the first game. Okay, Mark will pull the top team in the second group. Number 2, Glen Rovers. Number 6, Erin's Own. Number 10, Napirsig. Number 7, Bishopstown. So Group B, Glen Rovers, Erin's Own, a derby against Napirsig and Bishopstown as the 4th seed in that group. Our last group, we know who's coming. Number 3, Sarsfields. Number 4, Blackrock. Number 12, St. Finbarr's, getting the 3rd seeding.
And number 8.
Number 8, Charleville, getting the 4th. So we have Group C, Sarsfields, Blackrock, St. Finbarr's and Charleville. Just while the folks at home are going to see the 3 come up together now, we'll call them in a minute. Just to note, we know, of course, that the divisions and colleges, one team will be entering at the latter stages of this competition. That draw also is held over pending entries from the divisions and colleges, depending on COVID, depending on numbers available. Once they confirm their entries, we'll do that draw, and those games are taking place mid-summer ahead of the Premier Senior Club Championship section. So, Group A, Middleton, Douglas, Kanturk, Newtown, Chandram. Group B, Glen Rovers, Erin's Own, Na Piarsaigh and Bishopstown. Group C, Sarsfields, Blackrock, St. Finbarr's and Charleville. And over to you, Colm. I think that's us complete.
Okay, super job to Kevin, to Mark, to Pat, and the 2 Pats. Round of applause for the lads, because it was a pretty onerous task. I'm going to welcome Sean. I'll bring Shawnee up first, then we'll have Conor after that. I was trying to watch you, had your mask on there when Glen Rovers Group 2 were pulled out. What was kind of going on beneath the mask there?
Sorry. Obviously, when you get pulled out against or with your Northside rivals, it tickles your fancy a little bit. It's going to be a tough group. Glen Rovers, Erin's Own, Na Piarsaigh and Bishopstown. I think there's a couple of mouth-watering ties in general. There's a real East Cork sort of grouping in Group 1 in the intermediate. I had a Middleton, Lisgood and Blackrock as well in that. But certainly the Glen and Na Piarsaigh, that should be an interesting tie later on in the summer.
Look at the smile there. I could nearly see it through the mask. What about the other group, Group 3, Sars, Blackrock, Bars and Charleville?
Yeah, that's a real group of death, I suppose. I feel sorry for Charleville. Mark Foley is a fantastic guy and he did a great job last year, but again he found himself in a difficult group there and ultimately in a relegation battle with Carrick-Tuhill. But look, I suppose all the teams in that group will feel they have a chance. St. Finbarr's will have a managerial change. Joe Cunningham will make his... and
of course Blackrock have a...
And Fergal Ryan will step down, and Louis Mulqueen will come in under the spotlight there, down from Clare. And Sars last year, I suppose, Sars will feel disappointed, I suppose, the way their season went. They came out of the group, they topped their group, they were exceptional against Middleton. I saw them outside in Park Earing, they were very, very good. But the Glen caught him in the semi-final, and we were delighted with that. But I think Sars will feel they have a bit of unfinished business, so that's a real group of death there.
Okay, I mentioned Middleton there, running through their group, Douglas, Kanturk and Newtown, Chandram.
Yeah, and I suppose in the group, the first I look at all the time is who's coming up. I see Castlemartyr coming up in Group 3 in the Premier Intermediate, and Kanturk coming up in that group. It's going to be tough. They'll find it hard there against, a seasoned team like Middleton again, who will go through a bit of a coaching change more than a managerial change. I presume Geoff Fitz will stay on, but Ben is obviously stepping down. Douglas in the group, again, I thought would do better after being brilliant in the group stages, but they were poor against Blackrock after. And Newtown, Chandram, Pat obviously has gone with the seniors, Pat Mull, they're going to go through their own change there too. But they're always seasoned, they're always capable. They gave the Glen a ferocious game in Warren Abbey and probably should have won. So it'll be tough on Kanturk in that group. But obviously all eyes will be on the county champions to see how they do, and Middleton won't have it easy either.
Okay, finally, because I know there's more meetings coming here tonight, so time is against us. Middleton, of course, that wonderful day here, that wonderful performance by Conor Lahan, you were alongside me, but then went into Munster and ran into the propeller that was Kilmallock, who in turn were chopped asunder by Ballygunner in the Munster final. Is Cork Club hurling that far behind?
I'm not so sure. I mean, obviously we got to an All-Ireland final, again, coincidentally beaten by a Limerick team and beaten, I suppose, it was a heavy defeat, and in the physical stakes we seem to struggle a bit as well. I wouldn't read too much into how Kilmallock did after against Ballygunner. I was at the game and young Hurling came off early, and Ballygunner, when they get that running game going, they can completely open you up. So I wouldn't read too much into that, but certainly, I like speaking to Ben after the Middleton game, he put a lot of focus on the Munster campaign. He was obviously so successful himself as a player in that competition. I think he liked it. And I'd say he was desperately disappointed. But just on the day, I think Middleton, again, on the day, sometimes it's just on the day, and I think they prepared well for it, but they missed some early scores. Their heads seemed to go down early, and then Kilmallock piled it on the same day. Houlihan, I think, ended up getting a man of the match. He was unerring from frees. So while it was disappointing, I wouldn't be holding too much stock in it. It's disappointing that we're not winning provincial titles at club hurling and getting to All-Ireland stages. It's very disappointing to see now again on Sunday you're going to have Ballyhale and Ballygunner vying for the title. So it's disappointing, but I don't think it'll have a huge bearing on where we ultimately go at the inter-county stage.
Okay, and finally, and listen, we shouldn't be getting too excited the first weekend of the Allianz League, but still a few new faces, a few young faces, a few exciting faces by Kieran Kingston here on Saturday evening.
Yeah, I look, as opposition, I was very disappointed, or very surprised at how disappointing Clare were. I thought they'd put up a better show, but from a Cork perspective, yeah, it's great to see new players coming through. Look, we got to an All-Ireland final last year. There were a few cracks to be sorted out, obviously. So to see Sean Toomey go in and do okay, I thought Shane Barrett was very busy and good in the corner, got a couple of great points. And obviously, Kieran Joyce was very, very good around midfield. So to see the three of them do well was very, very encouraging. Okay,
Shawnee, we're going to have to leave you down. Conor Coonan's going to come up and join me. I'm going to be in awful trouble here, lads. I'm sorry. I'm holding up the show. Conor, there was a kind of a new and an ah when Group 3 in the football came out there. Group of death would be probably a bit of an understatement. Clonakilty, Castlehaven, Nemo Rangers and Newcestown. I wouldn't fancy that.
No, they kind of say the West awake. I don't think they'll sleep tonight, I'd imagine. Yeah, no, it's intriguing. There's some big heads going to roll there early on. And yeah, look, it's anybody's group there, to be honest about it. And if you lose the first game, you're on the back foot straight away. So yeah, no, it'll be a good crowd puller down there, I'd say, a few of them.
Now, last year, Nemo were in with Valley Rovers and Douglas. Valley Rovers and Douglas paired again. They've got Mallow and Ballincollig alongside them.
Yeah, and you know, Douglas did very well last year. Probably need a bit more forward power. Ballincollig could probably be a dark horse for me in that one. I think they could be, you know, they're a young, improving side. So out of that group, they'd be my fancy.
Just going back to the previous group, Clonakilty desperately unlucky here in a county final last year. How hard is it to bring yourself back when you come so close, or is that the motivation that drives you?
Well, the reality is you go one way or the other, you dig in and fight your way out. I suppose, you know, starting out last year, we probably wouldn't have visualised Clan making a county final. They made a county final now very much on merit and performed admirably on the day. But now it's, you know, you start from scratch again, so that's where they are. But look, they're well capable of it. Finally
then, Group 1, the county champions, the Bars, Éire Óg, Carbery Rangers and Carrigaline. Éire Óg, a team, I must say, that have impressed me on their jump up. But let's be honest, the Bars still the standard bearers at the moment.
Yeah, but I suppose, you know, I remember here when they played Éire Óg in the championship, I think Éire Óg led with about 15 minutes to go. Now, Bars ran out easy, winners in the finish, and I suppose Bars running the Munster Championship and the All-Ireland, getting to the All-Ireland semi-final stages, I think will bring them on an awful lot. They're certainly the short price to retain that title, I would think.
Okay, anything in the scenery that's jumping out at you?
Yeah, look, I suppose Michaels are the ones that everyone's heart goes out to. You know, that day has to come someday. Newmarket are up a grade, but you know, they'll be bringing on one or two players who weren't available to this year, injured. They have one or two good young fellas coming up. They could be a dark horse in it, I think.
Okay, finally, I'm going to have to ask you about the county team. It's been a tough start to life for Keith Ricken on the field and off the field as well.
Yeah, look, I suppose the reality is, you know, when you're blending a lot of inexperienced players together, that's a difficult time for any management team as such, and it's no different in this case. But look, the circumstances dictate that at the moment in terms of, you know, injuries and what have you. But look, I'd like to think, you know, when we get some of the more senior players back in, you know, that will help the inexperienced guys, because they do need time to develop. It's not going to happen overnight, and we need to be patient.
Patience being the key word.
Absolutely.
Okay, Conor, thank you so much. Shawnee, thank you so much. Round of applause for the two lads there. Just for those watching at home, I think the graphics will be rolling up the draws from the evening so far. As you can see, the chairs will be moved around because we have a full board meeting, I think, coming up now. A huge thanks to Kevin O'Donovan for running off tonight, and thanks to everybody here as well. And thank you at home for watching. So the clock is ticking. Looking at it now, it's 8:15, and it's the 8th or 9th of February. In about 5.5 months' time, we'll be up and running out on the fields here behind me and across the county, and I for one can't wait. Okay, thanks to everyone again for being here tonight. Thanks to everyone at home, and we all look forward to the games once they all throw in July.